All right, we're back. It is the RP show, and I've sent you Hebsy's number. You should have it on your phone. So there we go. Mark Hebscher trying to get logged in. That's the infamous look of trying to get logged in. So we have made contact with Mark Hebscher, which, by the way, I might as well read this right now. As co-anchor of the wildly popular show Sportsline on Global TV, the author of this book, Mark Hebscher helped revolutionize the way sports are presented on television. He spent 45 years in sports media as a host, interviewer, anchor, producer, and reporter. Mark is a true sports historian and a foremost expert on everything sports. That attitude shines through in his column, Hebscher on Sports, via his Substack page. He has 2 adult sons and resides in Toronto. He enjoys golf, music, and gardening. And why don't we say walks on the beach? It's who was it that wrote in here? I apologize. I don't know. It's going crazy. It's a Monday. There's a lot of things going on. Oh, George Pedersen is going to be in Anaheim tonight for the Leafs game. There is that what it is now? And then I just opened up Twitter in the break, and I see Bruce Cassidy spotted at the Pedersen airport. I'm like, oh my God. We'll get to the viewers' comments. Well, we got a lot for Hebsy here. Apparently his internet crapped out. What do we say about this show? The show where anything can happen at any time. The problem for me is it usually does. Scott in Vancouver says, Mark, what was the name of the female co-host you had on Sportsline? We'll get to that. I mean, I never even thought about this being a gong show tonight in Anaheim. It's probably nothing's going to happen. Do you remember, what was it, 2019? The big brawl for it all, the Oilers and the Flames, the 6-on-6, Mike Smith versus Cam Talbot, Cassian and Kachuk on Hockey Night in Canada. A lot of us were watching it live. And then when the two teams met the next time, George Paris flew in live to be at the game, and nothing happened. As a matter of fact, the fact that George Paris is going to be there tonight probably is why the NHL is sending him in there into Anaheim tonight, is to make sure that nothing happens, but it very rarely ever does. Carlos in Indiana writes in and says, good thing this show is great with audibles. Is it? Sometimes I wonder. 902-518-3033. We were going over the analytics the other day. A lady here, a business lady in Florida, asked for them, and like 1/2 of our podcast downloads are in Toronto. I got to think it's because people are sick of the Leaf talk. 5 seconds into me even seeing about Peros and Radko Gudas, and I'm sick of it. David, number 2 in Winnipeg, says $170 for an Uber. Where did you stay? In Buffalo? No, I stayed in Times Square at a place I always stay in. I can hear Hebsy. I can hear him saying testing 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Max in Toronto, for the sanity. Max writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, any Canadian being spotted at the Pedersen airport shouldn't be a surprise. It's a main connection if Cassidy's flying home. I don't know if we're ever going back.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're ever going back to normalcy. You let me know when Hebsy's ready, because I can hear him. I can hear Hebsy.
You want me to go somewhere the house here? Because I'm in the basement.
You want to put him on?
Come with me.
You want to throw up the video of Hebsy?
Come.
Okay, we see you, Hebsy.
You got me?
You're live. I got you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I love it.
Can you hear? Great.
You've never looked or sounded better, Hebsy.
We're on.
Why not?
Beautiful.
Why not,
well,
brother?
Here I am in the best possible spot I could be in, so that we can connect together, because my internet's down and I got bubble gum and chicken wire. What's going on, RP?
Well, I wanted to talk about the damn Blue Jays, who are going to go 162-0, but the viewers say it's going to be a bloodbath at Anaheim tonight with the Ducks there. So, or in the at the Ducks. Where's your head, sports wise, today?
Oh my God! Well, the Leafs game isn't until way later, okay? And like, who
Mm-hmm.
cares about that? It's the Blue Jays all the way. It's the entire
That's what
country.
I said.
It really
That's what
is.
I said.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I think during the Stanley Cup play, I'll tell you this: if all the Canadian teams were involved in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the Blue Jays were playing, even though it's early in the season for baseball, that might be a tough. You'd have to have multi screens going, right?
Well, especially these days. And I said earlier, the reason I wanted to get you on, I've really enjoyed your baseball takes on Twitter. I don't know if your baseball is your number one sport, but you sure know a hell of a lot about it. And I guess I'm just enjoying what you're putting on Twitter about that. No, to have everybody follow Hebsey later if you don't already, but that's just a hell of a start. So let's talk about the 3-0 Blue Jays.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they're going to start the season sweeping the A's, I would have likely gone, yeah, that's about right. And we're a better team. We have better pitching. We have better hitting. So Langoliers and Nick Kurtz aside, or a couple of other guys, we're a way better team. So we should sweep that team, and we should sweep Colorado as well. 162-0, of course, it's always fun. Beginning of the season, this happens every spring. But here's the thing with this team: like any other team, you got to stay healthy. With this team, you've got some depth. If somebody big goes down, you got some pretty good ball players out there. So I'm interested to see how this team evolves that way. We got tickets for the Dodgers next week, right? They're coming in.
Mm.
That's revenge, but it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But seriously, the vibe, people will be taking the day off work. They'll be skipping school because Dodger Blue Jay series, I don't care when, both teams were there. How many months ago was it? Not that many. This can be very exciting. So we got tickets for that game. We know that Dylan Cease is pitching for Toronto. Already, people have offered us way more money for our tickets for a baseball
Well,
game in April.
I saw the quote from Cease from Saturday night. He basically said this atmosphere, when it gets rocking, makes an impact in the Blue Jays winning chances. There's no doubt. It wasn't always that way, but it is right now.
No, yeah, it is. I'm going to switch. I want to show you the drywall and everything. You know what? You remember it used to be when there was four-man rotations, you'd say, well, who's pitching? And then it was five, this guy, it's an opener, it's Eric Lauer. Now it's like, well, who do we got? We got Scherzer throwing. Do we got Cease throwing? Do we got Gosman throwing? Really, it's, and we haven't even talked about you. Savage starts the season injured. So how can you not get excited about this team? And I do love baseball more than other sports only because it's daily. So really it's hourly. So really it's in your head from the beginning of the season to the end. Hockey, you can take a break. Basketball, you can take a baseball is pretty much, every single day. And on the day that you don't have it, you're going over the previous games. The other thing about baseball is game's over with. You've discussed it the next day. Now you're on to the next day. So you're not lingering over 3-4 days of, well, he made a terrible play. Let's show that replay for the millionth time in between two games, let's say, the Leafs have played. Baseball, it's like, forget about that. We got last night's game. We got last night's game. We got another game to go over. And I like the cadence of baseball that way because I know that every day I'm going to be involved until November. And I'm in a fantasy pool too. So I mean, of course I root for the Jays, but there's certain players I really like, no matter what teams they play for. I'm more of a players guy than I am a team guy. When I was a kid, I was
Yeah,
like, I
me
love
too.
the Leafs, love the Blues. Any other team I didn't care, but I appreciate the players now. So where they go, I go. Like I like Kevin Durant. I don't care who he plays for. I just like the guy.
Houston.
Is that so? Is
Houston.
that so bad?
I'm the same. I'm
I know.
100% the same. And I don't know why that is. It feels like that's a rare viewpoint that we have, but it is what it is. Listen, the viewers want your take on John
Yeah.
Tortorella's return to the NHL, specifically with Vegas. What did you think when you heard the news, and how do you think this is going to turn out?
Yeah. Okay, I saw Vegas play the Islanders back earlier this season. I didn't like the makeup of the team at all. They got talent, but there was just no zip, no get up and go, no just something about it. Did they tune Bruce Cassidy out? How many years can a coach for? How much wood does a woodchuck chuck? Until the players tune him out. The consensus is 3. right? 4-year contract, 3-year deal, 3 year of listening. And then by that year, the guys have tuned the guy out. So now Marner, for example, comes into this situation and he's got a team that's a good team, but they just, I don't know, for whatever reason, they're not listening to Bruce Cassidy anymore. And now he's stuck. I mean, right? Cassidy's trying to keep his job. The players don't like him. Maybe the environment in the locker room is just not, we can't play for this guy anymore. We've had it with him. So you bring in Tortorella on a shorty. He comes in, he yells, he screams, he makes like who he is. He says, "You guys are a great team," right? And they make the playoffs, and maybe they win a round or two. But yeah, I didn't like it. I thought, boy, this should be a better team. They should be a better team. And I guess the
And
owner
that's
felt the
why
same.
is why they made the change, clearly. And that's the thing is, Hebsy, you've been doing this longer than I have. Not much longer, though. These guys like Tortorella are good short-term guys. They're not long-term guys, but they're good short-term guys. So how do you think it will turn out?
Look, the same as bonus with Columbus will. And gets into the playoffs, hopefully, and then just go. But other than that, we're not expecting a long-term deal. Although Rick Bone is healthy, and he would coach that team next year. John Tortorella, I don't know who he's set up for. Western Conference coach? What does he know about that Western Conference? I know he was on the NHL Tonight every night, so he certainly saw a lot of games. He's certainly up on the league and the players. He's very prepared, I think, to probably coach that team. And I guess Vegas realized that. Who's the most prepared guy to coach this team, other than the assistant coaches? And they said, you know what? We watch Torts every night. Guy knows his stuff.
Well, as you know, Hebsy, because again, you've been doing this a long time, those coaches that are on those panels, they love it because it keeps them in the game. They don't want to be broadcasters, but it gives them a reason to watch, right?
Well, sure, and they all have deals whereby they know, and whoever hires them knows that if they get a job offer, they can leave. Go ahead, and it looks good on their resume, and also the TV networks look good too because hey, there's our former colleague John Tortorella, right? Everybody's former colleague. So now you got an in with the guy, right? You're rooting for the guy. You sat next to him on the anchor desk, or you watched him on the NHL Tonight. Same with all these. I guarantee you, every former NHL coach, probably every former player, if they got offered a job to coach, to go from the TV booth to coaching, they would all do it. They all did it. Eddie Olczyk did it, right? Rick Tocchet did it. I mean, think about Bruce Boudreau. Every guy is on TV and then he's coaching.
I want to, there's viewer questions for you. There's a ton, but I want to ask you something. I will get to the book in a second. I didn't know that you'd worked in Montreal for the amount of time that you had. So when you see the Habs doing well like they are, how does that make you feel? Because that's quite a town. That's quite a hockey town.
Love them. I have to tell you, my friends, when I was growing up, we were Leaf fans. They hated Montreal, hated them. I'm like, how could you hate this team? How could you hate the elegant Jean Béliveau or Henri Yvon Cournoyer? How could you hate this team? How could you hate Larry Robinson and Steve Shutt and Lafleur? That's the ugly pugilists like the Philadelphia Flyers or the big bad Bruins, they didn't, so how could you not? So I always, they were like my second favorite team. I always wanted them to do well. Plus, I had friends who played for that team. Mark Napier, I grew up with. Steve Shutt grew up around the corner from him. So that's where you have your loyalties, but also, like I say, there's players, guys you like, players no matter where they go. And Montreal to me was just such a good team and so much fun to watch and so explosive that I wish them all the best. I hope they do well. If the Leafs can't, I hope it's Montreal.
I'm 100% the same with a lot of here in Florida. The Panthers and Lightning fans are really starting to hate each other. I'm like, 5 years ago, you guys loved each other. Can we not all get along? Yeah. But what was it like being in Toronto for years, not hating the Habs? I'm kind of fascinated, actually, because you would be rare.
Yeah, I know. I have friends. I know fans, and this is the type of fan they are. They, of course, want their team to win, but they get much more satisfaction when their bitter rival loses. So I had friends of mine that, oh yeah, Leafs won, that's great, but Montreal lost. And they're in their glory, right? Because they're dancing around in front of their Montreal friends going, nah, 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 like stuff like that. So to me, it's more the power of hating a team is greater than the power of loving your team. You want them to lose. It gives you greater satisfaction when your bitter rival loses.
I'll tell you this, it's great for business. When the Lightning
You
and
bet.
Panthers hate each other, it's great for business. It's great for guys like you and me. Which, speaking of, how has this changed your life, Hebsy? Everybody I know has got a copy of it, so it's clearly selling well.
Yeah.
How's it been for you?
Yeah. It's been a real adventure. When I speak to people, groups, banquets, whatever meetings, uh, I decide like what part of the book am I going to tell them about, and usually it's the Gretzky one. He sweats all over me, and it seems to resonate with people. Because I ask people, I say, have you ever met Wayne Gretzky? And a lot of people have met him in some, at a charity event or whatever. And so I say, and most people have, and I say, have you ever noticed how much he sweats? And how many people go, yeah, you're right. He sweats a lot. And I go, and that's the first chapter of the book. It's called The Great Sweatsky. So telling them the stories to audiences is a lot of fun. And then afterwards, meeting them and taking a picture with them and signing the book and all that is great too. Best, of course, is when someone writes a review for all to see, right? Not just me. It's nice to hear, but when they write a review, a Google review or an Amazon review, that goes such a long way because perfect strangers are like, I've been looking for a book and this one. I like the comments on this one. That looks like my kind of book. I didn't even know who this guy Mark Hebscher is. I never heard of Toronto before. This looks like an interesting book. So that's what you need. You need people who wish your path had no R to find out about the book. So that when they write reviews, and I see a review from some stranger who bought the book on Amazon, for example, I go, wow. Like, I wonder if they read it all in 2 days or I wonder how much they loved it, or if they went, "Ooh, this is my kind of thing." So it's really exciting to see that feedback.
Okay, well, hey, that's where I will write my review. Then is you tell me where I should put it because I've got thumbs up on it. But it's funny because I said to Hebsy, I read it this weekend. You said, "What took you so long?" It's not a pamphlet. It's a hearty book. We only got 2 minutes. Kirk in Toronto would like to know if you could update us on how Bob McCowan is doing, the legendary Bobcat. Fadoo.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I don't speak to Bob, but I know from a good friend of his that he's not doing so well. Right? The guy is trying to recover from two separate strokes, and the last I heard was, he is managing. How well, I'm not sure you would know from anybody. But he hasn't been on the airwaves, and so naturally, you think if you don't see someone on the airwaves or on a YouTube channel, that things aren't well. But I haven't heard anything more than that, and I hope he does well. He was my mentor and the most entertaining sports personality in this I think this country's ever seen.
Wow. Heedy praise for sure. All right, Hebsy. Well, I'll handle this. Well, we have 1 minute with you. Do you want to do the pitch where people can
All
get
right.
your book?
Yeah, look, Amazon's really the best place, and just write a review on Amazon. The reason is that if you buy it from Amazon, you're a verified purchaser. Whereas if you random person go, well, who is this? Or maybe they're just trying to pump up Mark Hebscher. Maybe he paid them to. No, no. So legitimate. So if I purchaser now when they post that, people go, oh, I'm looking for a book of sport. What's this? And so Amazon's the best place to write a review. It could be one sentence. Enjoyed the book, highly recommend it. Or, piece of crap, don't buy it, no stars. I prefer to do that, of course. It's amazing how that spurs sales. And I don't care what the product is. If people say that's good, other people are going to go, well, I got to try that.
All right. Thanks, Hebsy. Let's do it again soon. Hopefully his internet's working when we do. We'll be right back on Silver State Sports and Game Plus Television.